Today, I will teach you process mapping in 5 minutes. And if you have an AI business or are willing to start one, process mapping will indirectly make you tons of money. So in this video, I will present what process mapping is, how to do process mapping, but most importantly, how to use this skill to make money with your AI business. And make sure you stay until the end because I've prepared a more in-depth resource for you on process mapping with a real-world business map of a business. But without further ado, let's dive into it. The first thing I want to share with you is a quick explanation of what process mapping is and why it's important. I strongly believe that whenever you're educating yourself on something, spending enough time understanding why something is important to learn is crucial. So let me quickly explain this in less than a minute. First, for those who don't know, process mapping is simply the action of putting down visually the process of a company. For example, you could map the onboarding process of a marketing agency, and in that case, you would visually lay out every step and every decision made from the start of the onboarding until the end of the process. Now, the reason why this is crucial for people with an AI business is that this will allow you to both understand your clients better and also find bottlenecks and inefficiencies faster. And since our mission with our AI business is often to solve problems inside a business with AI or simply improve the overall efficiency of our client's business with AI, it becomes obvious that process mapping will allow us to achieve this better. But now let me show you how to do process mapping and present to you the rules of process mapping. The first rule of process mapping is to define the scope. You never map the entire business at once. You map one process at a time. For example, lead generation, client onboarding, product delivery, or customer support. You're going to pick one process and map it. So you will typically choose your process mapping software, write the name of the process at the top of the board, and start building the flow. For process mapping software, I personally use Figma, but Miro or Lucidchart are both strong options. Once you have the software and the process you're about to map, you need to start mapping the process. And for that, there's some rules you need to follow. First, you need to use the correct shapes. The first shape is the oval, which represents the start and end, the beginning or the end of a process. For example, new lead enters system or client signs contract would be start of a process. So keep in mind that your process must start and end with an oval. Then the rectangle is a task, something that happens. For example, send email, qualify leads, create contract, and so on. All of those are simply things that happen. Then you have the diamond, which is a decision block. This is where the flow branches with yes or no. It's really important to know that a process map should never have a maybe. It should always be yes or no. So for example, approved or rejected, qualified or not qualified. Then after each decision, it should have an action. So for example, if the diamond is the lead qualified, it should be yes, then continue, and if no, exit, for example. After that, you have the parallelogram, which represents data entering or leaving the system. For example, lead form submitted or invoice generated. This is especially important in AI systems because AI works on data. And finally, you have the arrows, which show the sequence and the flow of the process. The rule is pretty simple, always go from left to right or top to bottom. That way, you have a clear map. Also, try to never let a rows cross if possible, because once again, the goal of this is to have clarity. Then, after the shape rules, there are some things that you also need to do correctly. One being to map the process chronologically. So you start with the trigger, the thing that initiates the process, and then ask yourself what happens immediately after. It's really important to understand that process mapping is about documenting reality and not improving or optimizing yet. So when you're mapping the process of a company, do it chronologically and write every single step of that process. You're mapping what is, not what should be, and then simply map the process step by step until you reach the end. Once the process is finished, with a service delivered or payment received, for example, you add your ending oval. And finally, my last piece of advice, which is not really a rule, is to keep those maps simple. If your process has 50 plus steps, maybe it's worth creating sub-processes to keep things as simple as possible. Because remember that the reason you're doing this is to understand the business and be able to read the business and find potential bottlenecks fast. So now the burning question still is, how do you make money with this? Well, process mapping is a skill I decided to acquire during my journey of building my AI business. Today, after 3 years in the AI market running my business, after failing and finding new opportunities, I crafted a business model called the AI Partnership. It's what I believe the best AI business model right now, and it mixes every skill and every service I think are the best to make money and deliver results. Here, in your case, process mapping is a skill you need to be able to deliver AI audits to a business. In short, short, an AI audit is an assessment you make of a business to understand it and propose the best AI solutions to solve its problem. But anyway, my point here is that the best way to make money using your process mapping skill is by starting your AI partnership. I actually made a video about the AI partnership model where I present it and show you how to start your own AI business. So if you're interested in making money in the AI gold rush and maybe starting your AI business, go watch the video on the AI partnership model. I'll put the link in the description. Now, for those who are willing to go deeper with process mapping and want to see an example of a real process map for a business, I recorded a use case where I mapped the process of a business. So if you're willing to watch it, you will find this resource inside my free community, The Shift. You will find the link in the description. And that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to grab your free resource, and in the meantime, I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.